Well, we finally got all the body components put together and on. Fit was a little off in different places. Some of the areas are going to be beyond the scope of your garage hobbyist, but for the most part, fit was not too bad on the car. We had to do a little adjusting, a little bit of manufacturing, being that it's a beta car, that's kind of normal. So a couple areas of problems to look out for would be making sure that this rear fits real good. These lines fit real well on the vehicle, because that's the front and the rear caps on these are the most critical part for positioning any of the other body components on there. So they have to be in the right position in order to get going, because as you notice, we built the car from front and from the rear to meet in the center. Doors were a little bit difficult, but with a few minor improvements, minor adjustments on it, they seem to go together. We got some good fit on it. Some of the things to look out for, let's start in the front and kind of work back. Crucial areas in the front here is making sure that these points here X out and are centered in the front for mounting. We had to do a little bit of adjusting on the front here in order to achieve that. We also need to have the correct distance here because of the hood fit on it. A little bit off, but not too bad. The hardest thing we had to work with was headlight. The reveal on the headlight, we had probably a half an inch on one side and about an inch on the other side. So we had to contour those to the lights themselves so that they set in there correctly, because it all kind of jams together there. Once we had that done, then we went to the rear and started forward. Putting the side panel, hanging the rear panel and the side panels together, bolting them temporarily to the car just with sheet metal screws, and then kind of fit everything down through the top hood panels, the rear hood panels, and got down to the doors, and that's where it took a little time. The doors have plenty of adjustment. As you remember, we talked about cutting a larger hole in the door latch area so that we could recess the striker up closer, which actually gave it a much better door gap here, a much tighter door gap. Finish looks a lot better there. We didn't put the trim panels in yet, mainly because it would be a lot simpler, a lot faster if I did it in my shop, because I got all the tools and everything there to do it with. It'll make it about half the time as if we did it here. But other than that, everything else fit good. A lot of aluminum riveting, things of that nature. The positioning of the doors was pretty simple. You can kind of leave everything not loose but snug and move it around from there to get the correct positioning. We also had a little problem with rubbing on this back edge here, and it was caused by this here being about 1/8 of an inch out. So with grinding a little bit of the inner door panel and a little bit of the metal door reinforcement out of it, that took care of that issue. This side was off, the other side fit beautiful. Other than that, everything else seemed to come together pretty good. All the gaps, all the areas that we were concerned about seem to come into place, because once you start building the car back from the front and then front from to the rear, it all kind of comes together on the doors and you can make the fit there. Another thing we had a little bit, not an issue with, but cutting out little areas on the windshield area to make sure that it fit in, for the hood. The fenders, you got to trim the edge of the fender, put a little 45 on the edge of that so it fits in there good and tight. The car actually seemed to go together pretty good, so we're ready to get her down on the ground and get it rolling.